Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing excellent. Can you hear the leaf blowers in the background? I hope they're not too loud. Alright, so right here we have the electric fan that I modified to fit on the Koyo radiator in one of the first videos I did for this channel. This is off of a 93 to 95 Nissan Quest, and with a little bit of modification just with the Dremel, it fits really nicely. And I just finished spray painting up the brackets on the side so they don't stick out like a sore thumb. And I thought, hey, let me show you guys how to wire this up. But the first thing I'm going to do is head to a pick-apart junkyard so that I can get the other end of this piece, which will make wiring it up a lot more professional looking instead of just putting blade connectors inside here. So I'm going to grab some general tools and then we're going to head to a pick-apart junkyard. So let's see, I got a 10 and a 12, a 10 and a 12, and since it's a Nissan, that's all I should need. And of course, some clippers to clip some wires. So let's go. Well, the first one we found, no luck. Everything's completely gone. The second one we found, let's see. Boom, we're in business. And I could have gotten this from the junkyard, but I bought a brand new one just because who knows how long this will last. But this connection right here is what we want, so we'll go ahead and pull that out. Okay, now that we got the piece that I need, I'm going to put the shroud back on the radiator and install it back in the car so I can get a measurement of where everything's going to go so I can cut my wires and wire it all up. Okay, so let's go ahead and break into our new purchase here. Let me go ahead and strip off this loom and pull out all the wires, see how we're doing. Like I said, it doesn't look too great, but it's going to be a lot cleaner install once we put it all together. You'll notice here I didn't just cut off the connection, I cut off as much wire as possible because obviously this is the correct gauge and might as well use cheap wire from the junkyard if possible. So I'm going to strip this down. So here's our mess, and here's the wires we need. Now, I already know that this connection, this is ground, and we're only interested in the high-speed connection because we don't have a variable switch or variable controller for this fan. So we just need these two wires to be connected. So this one will probably just terminate and insulate off, but that's what we got so far. All right. So now what I need to do is get this fan triggered up on a relay. This is a standard automotive relay. A 5-pack is available on Amazon. Really great price, really easy to use. It comes with very easy to interpret diagram on how to hook it up. So get this slid in there. So what I'm going to do is connect this to the stock harness for the fan. This harness has a nice little spot where it can slip on here and be tucked out of the way, like so. And then we need to figure out where we can mount our relay and connect it with these wires here. Now, one of the first things I want to do before I start cutting and splicing any wires, putting connectors on it, are connect my proposed ground and power. You can see here I've got a little bit of exposed copper at the end of these wires, even though I haven't stripped them yet. And I think the bolt we use to bolt in the radiator is connected to the chassis and is going to be a good ground, so I'm going to hold that ground there. And this is a power distribution block. I'm going to run this fuse, but just for testing I'll touch it right to the connection and see what happens. And those connections work. Now on my ground I'm going to attach an actual connector, put it around that bolt, and then get this power spliced into the relay. Now, before I go any further, I need to make sure with this 30 to 40 amp relay and the inevitable fuse I put into this power distribution block that I've selected the correct one to make sure that I don't constantly pop the fuse and that this is safe to run with these wires. So I've got my multimeter here set to amps, got it bridged to the power distribution. We're going to go ahead and put our prong in for the high speed fan setting over here and see what she reads. Okay, so it looks like it spikes at startup to between 18 and 19 amps, which would be perfectly fine for 30 to 40 amps here, and we'll put a 30 amp fuse into the fuse box in that power distribution block. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just taped up the one connection we need from the relay, which I found a nice mounting point here, to the wire, the high-speed wire. Then down here, this red wire we're not going to be using. The yellow wire again is going to the signal to the accessory, in this case our electric fan. Blue is power, which I just already cut off, which will go to the bottom of this fuse block here. Red again we're not using. White is for the signal, which I'm going to run to a switch for now, but will eventually be an output signal from the Haltech, just an on signal once we get the electric fan system configured with the temperature sensor. And then black is ground, and there's a nice location here to run a bolt through to the chassis and ground that out. So I'm going to splice on the connections here, solder this together, and then we'll give it a test with a fuse in there. Our soldered and terminated harness for the electric fan assembly. I'm going to go ahead and ground the relay. I just ran my M6 1.0 tap through the hole. Have plenty of these around if you're working in an FC engine bay. everything in here almost is M6 1.0, M6 1.0 bolt. I'm going to use a little dielectric grease, always a good idea. Right on the threads there. I'm going to ground this down. That ground down there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a 30 amp blade fuse into my power distribution block. Connect my power for my relay, like so. And then this is what would go to the switch or the output signal from the Haltech. So let's check this whole wiring. This is a positive point right here. So 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Works like a charm. So I'm going to tidy this up real quick and show you the way I like to have the wiring harness look for a finished product. And then I'm going to get this relay tightened down. And I'll be right back. Alrighty there, boys and girls. If you didn't know what we just did, would you be able to see it? I don't know. Maybe you could. But it's right here. Right along there. Everything's hooked up. Just going to do one final touch to make it even tighter with one of these cool zip ties. Put this guy. Pull that up. Nice to the front. Very good. Awesome. Oh, and let's check. Does everything still work? Sure does. Alright guys, as usual, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave a link to all those different products in the description below. I got all that stuff off Amazon. It's all really great stuff. The Tesla tape, which I wrapped it in, the power distribution block, the relays, everything except for the fan itself I got quick on Amazon for a great price. So check it out if you want to do something like this for yourself. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.